it's already undebatable that Dandadan is one of the best anime of 2024, but what exactly is it that hooks people in on this series? The premise is so absurd and bizarre that it should be able to grab people in with just how unique it is, but I know there's something more. I've followed this series literally since chapter 1, and seeing it evolve to now be this massively popular anime goes to show that this series holds a lot more weight to the viewers and readers than just having this wacky premise with stellar artwork and gorgeous action. Within just the first episode, this series developed a ravenous following that was just chomping at the bit for every single episode. With the series already being over 170 chapters with no endgame seemingly in sight, I don't think I know where we're going in the series, and that's the best part. This series is constantly unpredictable, brings in great new characters and great action every single arc, and it keeps you hooked in despite not knowing what's gonna be at the end. I distinctively remember in the years that Dandadan was just a relatively niche manga. Many people who talked about it sold it purely off of how weird and crazy it is. I mean, we're literally searching for a dude's balls, and that's the main premise of the series. But for some reason, that doesn't even bat an eye to many of the viewers, because we're in the moment with these characters as these events happen, and that's what allows each moment to matter just as much as the next. But what exactly is it that hooks people into the series? Is it constantly being in the moment with the characters? Is it the characters, the yokai or aliens that they have to fight? I believe it's all of it, and one additional super important thing that a lot of people who talk about this series seemingly don't talk about, and it's the main heart of Dandadan, and that's love. And I'm not talking about romance, because obviously the romance between Momo and Okarun is a major plot element of the series, and a great hook because it's really well written. Momo and Okarun are fantastically well-written characters with very diametrically opposing personalities that blend together perfectly to create this dynamic duo that makes every single arc of this series so fantastic to read through, and especially to watch through, with this stellar animation accentuating their goofy facial expressions or very, very minute gestures. The way that they're animated and react to one another feels so real and human. The grounded elements of Dandadan are just as important as those wacky elements that promote the series in the first place. And it's so emblematic of every single enemy that they fight in the series. And I'm not going to get into any manga spoilers for you anime onlys out there, so I'm going to discuss solely anime only stuff when it comes to this regard. The main antagonists of Dandadan are really interesting to me. The two factions, the yokai and the aliens. The yokai and the aliens in Dandadan are meant to oppose love in two very obvious ways. The yokai are meant to represent self-hatred, regret, that lingering feeling that there's this unsatisfaction that they had in the world, and the aliens have this idea of a lack of individuality, a lack of passion, and a lack of drive. That lack of individualism doesn't even give them the opportunity to create an identity for themselves. They can't have any self-love if they don't have any self that they can love in the first place. Each of them have their own individuals within these set groups, and many of them happen to be victims. These victims, in this case, are antagonists, but they all have a story as to who they are and how they ended up in this situation. And this eventually leads to this great sense of individuality, because although they are completely, sometimes literally, alien to what the human experience is, them being in tune with characters like Momo and Okarun allow them to become more human. And as the anime-only watchers get to experience the acrobatic Silky flashback for the first time, I'm so excited, not only because the episode was absolutely incredible with stellar animation, beautiful music, and a really great directorial interpretation of the source material, but because this is such an early moment in the story. And I know that there's going to be countless other absolutely amazing moments, but this moment having such a powerful impact that it leaves the reader or the watcher with is going to stick with them for a really long time, and it gets the point of Dandadan across to so many people, and that's having that connection. Everyone, not just the yokai or the aliens, but the humans especially, put on some disguise to hide who they truly are. Momo wants to be tough, and Okarun is a nerd, so he has to act nerdy to talk to people. Everyone has this disguise that they're forced to put onto themselves, whether they're literally a monster who can't be seen by the world, or an alien that needs to disguise themselves to blend in. To fit in many regards in the series, means to not be yourself. And that love that I was talking about isn't just love for other people around you. The most important aspect of love in the series is self-love. Okrun and Momo, only a few episodes after they are introduced with these almost stereotypically characterized personas, are able to just be themselves. They're able to develop such a deep bond with one another and really grow to be their own people through the interactions with other people, because they're not afraid. Preconceived notions and rumors surrounding a lot of the main characters are a lot of the driving elements in the plot. Because self-identity and confidence is one of the main themes surrounding Okrun's character, this isn't too shocking, but I felt as though it was a really great way to incorporate this into Momo's character as well, spreading rumors about her and what she's like. So I absolutely love the scene where Okrun completely destroys any rumors surrounding Momo. It goes to show how much he cares about her in so little time. And this connection between the two characters only grows and shows how people allow themselves to be more comfortable around each other by acting like themselves. They're only comfortable around each other because they themselves allowed themselves to let go. And the craziness of all the scenarios around them make this need to hide who they are irrelevant as more and more characters are introduced, like Ira, who was just introduced as the popular girl. With connecting with people, these archetypes fade away. And I love how the concepts of self-love and self-actualization not only tie into character progression emotionally, but also narratively. The only reason Okrun is able to use Turbo Granny's powers in the first place is because he believed in Momo, and he believed in himself that he would be able to protect her by using these abilities, which allows the concepts of believing in yourself to be multi-layered. If you have the confidence in yourself to be yourself, you can then have confidence in yourself to help others, allowing everyone to be able to improve, because everyone is solely relying on caring about each other and not caring about what other people think. This message resonating in the wackiness and the grounded nature of the series both makes it hit so much harder. In every single element of Dandadan, Tatsu was able to create a world that is built around extremes. Whether it's the aliens and ghosts that the main characters have to fight, or the extremes within their own mundane human world, like Momo being a Gyaru and Okrun being an otaku, every single character is able to be this extreme that seemingly wouldn't be able to fit in, but every single character is able to put aside the weirdness of what's around them and who they are in order to better themselves, because they just simply stopped caring. And that in itself is what leads to the power system in this series, coming from accepting each other and working together for a greater good. And this leads to the connection of the characters feeling so much more genuine, because they simply don't care what other people think about them. They're willing to open up to each other instead of just assuming who people are like everyone else in the series. This don't judge a book by its cover mentality is baked into the series itself, a series that sells itself on the idea of yokai and ghosts and fighting between these two groups, and the fighting of these monsters doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. What really matters is the connections that these experiences build between the main cast. And even when the tone of the series gets very dreary and dark, which Tatsu masterfully does with examples like the Acro Silky flashback, the fun moments wouldn't hit nearly as hard. The moments where the characters are just having a good time and making jokes with one another and having super funny facial expressions. The extremes built into the series are what make it so meaningful to a lot of people. This series truly has something for everyone. Whether you love the action or the great character writing or the beautiful animation, this series is without a doubt one of the best shows of 2024, and already has been one of the best manga for years in my opinion. This has been one of the few series I've been reading since chapter 1 weekly. That's how good this stuff is. I even saw the movie where they released the first 3 episodes in theaters. I love this stuff, and I'm so happy to see it grow to be this massive thing that so many people now enjoy. If you want more long form, please let me know. Any support would be greatly appreciated. Liking, commenting, or if you even dare, consider subscribing to the channel. And who's your favorite character? Let me know. That'll be everything from me. Hope you enjoyed. Take care and have a good one.